If you're a business owner who pays everyone else before you pay yourself, watch this. Your staff get paid every single month, on time, without fail. Your suppliers get paid. Your landlord gets paid. HMRC definitely get paid. But when it comes to paying yourself, there never quite seems to be enough left over to take out. And you tell yourself that it's all temporary. When we hit X amount of revenue, it'll all sort itself out. But then you hit that number and you still realize that nothing's actually changed. Here's the truth. This isn't actually about working harder or increasing your sales. You're stuck in a cycle that most accountants won't even mention. I'm Mustafa, and over the last 20 years of being in business, we've helped over 1,000 businesses with their strategy, taxes, and accounting. And I've seen this pattern happen everywhere, across every single industry, from hospitality to coaches and consultants, you name it. It happens everywhere. You've got profitable businesses, but broke owners. And in this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 reasons of why you're not paying yourself properly and how you can actually fix that. So let's get straight into reason number 1. And that reason is you're treating yourself as a leftover expense. Let me tell you a little bit about a client I worked with earlier in the year. They ran a small marketing agency, around 3 staff, and turnover was about £180,000 a year. And when I asked him how much he pays himself every month, the response was whatever's left in the bank at the end of the month. Some months that was £3,000, some months that was £800, and some months it was even zero. And this is reason number 1. Most business owners treat their actual salary as the financial variable, the thing that seems to absorb all the financial chaos in the business. Your staff salaries are fixed, your rent is fixed, HMRC taxes, they're all fixed. Your pay, it's whatever's left. But here's what happens when you carry on doing this. You can't actually plan your personal life. You are not sure if in the next few months you can actually afford your mortgage payment, afford your car insurance expenses. You can't actually live life properly. That actually just keeps you constantly stressed. And because you're stressed about money, that now means that you make worse financial decisions. You may take on clients because you need that extra cash. You may discount again because you need extra cash. And you also stop yourself from investing in things that will probably help you grow. And if you continue doing all of this, it becomes a vicious cycle. And according to research on small business owner compensation, you guys don't actually pay yourself your fair share. If you were in a job, for example, you would probably get paid more than what you are in your current business. So think about that. You took all this risk, you took all the headache of running a business and keeping it afloat, yet you're not paying yourself the right amount, and you probably would be getting paid more if you worked for someone else. That's not being noble. That's not investing in the business. That's pure and simply a broken financial system. Reason number 2, and this is actually a big one. Most business owners, most people who I speak to are genuinely winging it with their finances. Let me ask you something. Do you know your gross profit margin? Not roughly, exactly. Do you know the exact number? Do you know what percentage of your revenue goes towards overheads? Do you know what your average monthly expenses are? Most business owners I meet, they know their revenue. They know, oh, we're making 15k a month, but they actually have no idea what that means in terms of profit. And profit is the real number. That's all that matters. I had a plumber come to me last year. Revenue was great. It was about £140,000. And he thought he was doing well because he was really busy all the time. But when we actually broke down his numbers, here's what we found. Materials were eating up to 35% of his revenue. You got van costs, fuel, insurance. These were taking up to almost around 12% extra on top. And then you've got subcontractors whenever he needed a bit of extra help, another 18%. And then your general business overheads, call that 15%. Before paying himself, almost 80% of that revenue gone. He was working 50-hour weeks just to take home just around £28,000 a year. And if you break that down, that's £10.77. It's less than minimum wage. And he actually had no idea. It's because nobody ever actually broke down these numbers to him. The problem is most business owners are just working with an accountant who does their year end. They get their numbers once a year, usually 6 months after the year end too. And that simply doesn't cut it. What you actually need is to understand your numbers in real time. You need to know exactly where every pound is going, know what your margins are, so you can actually make informed decisions in business. Because honestly, if you don't know your numbers, you actually don't know what you can afford to pay yourself. Reason number 3, this is revenue confusion, and this catches almost everyone. Your business turns over 200k, so automatically you assume you're living a comfy lifestyle. Things are good because you've got 200k in revenue. But revenue, your turnover, is not your profit. And profit, that's not what you take home. Let me actually break that down for you so it makes sense. Say your business makes 200k in turnover revenue. Your cost of goods or services, say about 30%, works out to 60k. Then you got your operating expenses, call it about £70,000, which works out to another 35%. That means you've got 70k gross profit left. And now you've got your rent and premises, software, tools, insurance, marketing, vehicle costs, professional fees, and any other miscellaneous overheads. Now let's say that's another 40k just gone like that. You're left with 30k after all them expenses. And then after you've paid corporation tax, call it 25% at the top end, another £7,500, you're left with around £22,800. And from a £200,000 business, you're only taking home around 2k a month. And that's before personal income tax. And most business owners, they don't do this calculation. They see 200k, they think that they're in the clear. But in reality, they're not. But math is math, and you can't hide from it. And the businesses that actually do well, that actually grow, they don't care about their revenue as such. They care about how much profit they're actually bringing home once that job is complete. And look, if you're thinking that I wish somebody could just help me out with all this because you don't know where you're going wrong, click the link in the description and book a free discovery call with me. We'll go through all your numbers, we'll work out what exactly you need to be paying yourself, and we'll also figure out ways to help you save tax, increase profits, and also live a better life in general. There's no pressure in this call, just pure clarity for you guys because that's all you deserve. And now let's go on to reason number 4, and this one is psychological. You're genuinely scared to pay yourself because you think that you're going to damage the business by doing so. You think to yourself, what if I need money for an emergency? What if all goes wrong and I lose all clients? How can I afford to run this business? So what happens is you leave money in the business account for the just in case reasons. But here's what actually happens when you do that. That money just sits there, and because it's just sitting there, you don't actually feel the pressure to make changes. You don't chase those late invoices aggressively. You don't end up raising your prices because the business is just surviving. You don't end up firing that problem client because you think that, okay, it's just going on and it's fine, we're getting the cash. That money just constantly sitting in your bank account is actually making you complacent. I worked with a consultant who had 40k sitting in her bank account at all times. She just wanted that 40k sat there. It seems to seem healthy, but she was actually only taking out around 2,500 a month as a salary. And that was for a business that was doing £150,000 a year. So I asked her, what's the 40k for? Why is it sat there? And her response, just emergencies. And I asked, what emergencies? She goes, just in case. So we did the actual maths. We figured out that at the top end, her monthly expenses were about 8k. So give or take 3 months worth of expenses is 24k. She had 40k sat in her bank account. So that means she was prepared to take a hit for 5 months, just in case. So she was actually hoarding an extra £16,000 for no real reason. And by hoarding that extra 16, she was actually not paying herself an additional £1,500 a month that it works out to. So what we did was we set up a proper structure where she actually pays herself for her real worth. 3 months operating expenses stay in the business. That's a given. But anything on top of that, take it out. And within the first 3 months, she paid herself her first dividend. £12,000 is what she took out. So the lesson here is that you don't need to starve yourself to make sure that your business is safe. And now let's move on to reason number 5. This is the one that ties everything back together. You have no actual structure on how you pay yourself. Most business owners, they just move money here and there whenever they feel like it. £500 here, £1,200 there, it's fine. But without a system in place, you will almost always default to underpaying yourself. These are the 4 things that actually work. You need to set yourself a fixed salary or drawdown. Treat yourself just like any other employee. Set a salary, call it £2,000 a month, £3,000 a month. Make sure that you pay yourself that first before everything else. You need to track something what I like to call your owner benefit number. Think of this as your salary plus your dividend plus any sort of perks you get, like a phone, your company car, any other expenses that your business pays for, because this should all be tracked. It's actually considered your total earnings at the end of the day. You also need to set a profit threshold for taking out additional bonuses or dividends. Once the business has X amount of operating expenses in the bank account and you end up hitting Y profit margin, you need to have a formula that says, okay, now you take out this much money. And by doing that, and by utilizing formulas and making sure you understand why, it becomes automatic, not something that you just think about here and there. And finally, make sure that you review your numbers on a quarterly basis. Every 3 months, just look at the numbers, top line numbers, at least to keep you on track and make sure that you understand exactly how the business is performing. It's the bare minimum you should be doing as a business owner. And simply just doing these 4 things, I've seen it transform businesses. Not because the numbers magically changed out of nowhere, but because they finally got the clarity that they deserved. And when you finally know exactly how much you're going to be taking home every single month, when you know just how much the business can afford to pay you all the time, it changes everything. You end up making better decisions in your business. You can afford to actually invest back into your business as well. and on yourself as a personal business owner. You then end up pricing properly. You chase them payments that are overdue and you fire any bad clients because you're not constantly chasing that quick cash. So if you're a business owner who's tired of being the last person to be paid, you've now got two options. Option number one, you continue doing what you're doing, hoping that magically one day it will all fix itself. Or option number two, you get somebody who knows exactly how to implement these systems and how to actually change your life. Book a free discovery call, the link is in the description. We'll break down exactly what's going wrong in your business and implement a strategy, a path that will get you clear and make sure that you know exactly what your business is bringing in and what's going out as well. And if you want the actual structure that we set up, how to take out salaries, how to implement dividends and profit shares, click the link below. Let's sort this all out finally, and I'll see you on the call. Peace.